Hello boys. So this particular lesson is for our boys of class 6A, B and C of St. Augustine School, and this is your literature lesson, Papa and Mama. Okay, the story title goes as Papa and Mama, written by Roald Dahl. Now, who is Roald Dahl? Now, in the previous class, I've given a short introduction to this particular story. However, Roald Dahl, alright, if you see, he is one of the greatest writers, especially he writes authors, he especially writes stories for children. And if you see, the works that he has written, the most noteworthy is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which has also been, which has also been made into a Hollywood blockbuster with, yes, Johnny Depp as the main character in the movie. So, however, when you look at it, alright, so Roald Dahl, he not only wrote this story, he also wrote many other stories like Giant Peach and also the BFG, like we have already discussed in the previous class, BFG, which is a big friendly giant. Alright, so he writes stories mainly for children. So here, he has written one such story called, he has written one such book called Boy, alright, Boy and his childhood, the tales of childhood. So this particular story, Papa and Mama, is an extract. Extract means it has been taken, a little bit of that story has been taken out and put in as a short story for you in the book. So this is an extract, alright, this Papa and Mama is an extract from the story called Boy, which is a book and is also known as the Tales of Childhood. Alright, so here he offers a glimpse of British boyhood experience involving sweet shops and harsh headmasters that seem the stuff of his outlandish fiction. Organized from Dahl's birth in 1916 to the beginning of World War II. So this is also recorded in the story Papa and Mama, because we know that he was of a British origin, alright, because in the story Papa and Mama, he has also referred to serving the RAF. The RAF is the Royal Air Force, okay? Britain's Royal Air Force is known as RAF. So he has also been a veteran of war, alright? So the story Boy is not Dahl's states. It's an autobiography, but rather a number of things that happened to him that he says he could have never forgotten. So the story here, it begins in Norway, where Dahl's father Harold was born in 1860s. Alright, at age 14, Harold fell off a roof. Now this has also been recorded in the story. He fell off the roof and broke his arm. His father fell off the roof and broke his arm. The drunken doctor mistook the injury for a dislocated shoulder, and trying to relocate it damaged the arm beyond measure, and because of which he had to amputate. He had to cut off his arm. Alright, so then now Harold adapted well to life with one arm and went on to build a successful shipbroking firm in Paris. He married a French woman and moved to Cardiff, Wales, to the great boon of his business, where when his wife died after the birth of the second child, Harold wed a Norwegian woman, Sophie, and together they had five more children, including Roald. During the last 6 months of each pregnancy, Harold and Sophie would take glorious walks in nature to encourage the forthcoming child to be a lover of beautiful things. So when Roald was 4, his sister died of appendicitis, which is a very common illness today, alright, which can be cured. But in olden days, because there was not much of technological advancement, so because of which people used to die of very simple diseases like appendicitis. So Roald was 4, and Roald lost his sister, alright, due to appendicitis, and he was very heartbroken. Harold was very heartbroken. The father was very heartbroken. So he soon contracted a fatal case of pneumonia, and he died, and his wife was widowed. all right, with 5 children to take care, and the second wife, this is the second wife that he had married. Okay, she was widowed after Harold died, and she was left with 5 children to care for, and expecting nothing, Sophie chose not to return to her family in Norway. So Harold had wanted his children to attend British schools, and Sophie resolved to fulfill his wish. Now, because Harold wanted his children to be educated in a British school, that is why after his death, also Sophie, the wife, made sure that the children got the schooling according to his wishes. So now, acknowledging that most memories before age 7 don't survive, Dahl recalls only one noteworthy experience from age 5, careering about on a tricycle. With that, he jumps to 1924. Alright, so there is a gap right from when he was at the age of 5, then there's a gap, and then he just jumps on to many years after that when he was 8 and attending Landorf's Cathedral School. This was a year that he and some mischievous friend perpetrated the great mouse plot. So this is recorded in the story that he has written, the great mouse plot. So Dahl masterminded the plot. There was a sweet shop in town, and enthralled Dahl and his friends. When they had money, they swooned over the purchase of gobstoppers and licorice, and the only stain on this otherwise glorious shop was a shopkeeper, Mrs. Prache. So curtsy and curdy as if never washed. So she was always snapping at the boys and making herself ready to target for the pranks. So when the boys found a dead mouse at school, Dahl hatched the plot to slip it into the gobstopper and give Mrs. Prache, who ran the shop, a fright. Alright, so this was known as the Great Mouse Plot. So mission accomplished, but and he was a prankster when he was very little, and he lived far off from home. He lived in a boarding school, and obviously, so he had a lot of friends, so they went around doing a lot of pranks. So now Dahl's family also spent summer holidays in Norway, and he presents sketches of their various adventures from there. Alright, so after a 4-day journey, the family arrived to Oslo at the home of Sophie's parents, whom Dahl refers to as his best mama and best papa. So an elaborate meal ensued, and he brings all the childhood memories of how they used to visit the grandparents. Okay, so year after year, Dahl returned to the islands, eventually including the eldest of our ancient sister's fiancé. The young couple liked everyone with their aloofness, so Dahl also schemed to puncture their reserve by filling the fiancé's fancy pipe with goat poop. Alright, so when he next took a puff on his pipe, the fiancé choked and spluttered, and causing the ancient sister almost much of an alarm. So this was all the pranks that he used to do in his childhood, and so this is what is also being recorded in the story. Alright, so with all this, like, one enduring benefit from Dahl's time, alright, at St. Peter's was the habit he acquired of sending a weekly letter to his mother. Now, he made sure that he wrote letters to his mother. So while this was a required activity at the school, he continued these weekly writing letters for about 30 years until the mother's death. So she saved everyone. Just imagine, the mother had saved every bit of the letter, and he was very pleased to have them after she was gone, after she died. So the Christmas holiday finally arrived, and Dahl remembers this euphoria, the happiness, alright, upon returning home. And Sophie had recently purchased a car. So after 2-hour driving lesson, the ancient sister proudly took the wheel while the family plied in for a road trip. And so when she miscalculated the turn in the road and steered in the hedge, Dahl plunged through the windscreen, slicing his nose nearly off. With much effort, they drove to the doctor, who was able to restore the nose. Now, so like from age 13 to age 18, okay. So Dahl, he attended, Roald Dahl attended the Repton Public School, and where severe discipline for seemingly minor infractions continued, alright. But with added abuse from the bruisers of the upper classmen, bullies, and all these things. And at 18, Dahl chose to pursue adventure outside England instead of further schooling. So he took up a job with Shell Oil in Africa. Then during World War II, joined the Royal Air Force. So, which is also being recorded in the story here. The book ends with Dahl's account of sustaining serious injuries when his plane crashed in North Africa. So Dahl continued the autobiographical reflections and going solo, so like later. Then he died in 1990, published posthumously. Posthumously means something that, let's say that you win an award, alright, that you win an award, but you win that award after your death is known as a posthumous award. So here, he was like, his book was posthumously published. That means after he died, it was published in 2008. More about Boy contains additional stories and letters along with the original text of Boy. So this is the story in general, but we see that this particular story, Papa and Mama, is if you go through the story in detail, you will see the account that he has put in, the autobiographical touch, makes it a very gives the story a very personal touch, all right. Gives the story a very personal touch, and also talks a lot about his memories about the childhood and his and where he belongs. Like, it talks about his parents, the closeness with his parents, and all the memories that he made, okay, all the memories, all the pranks that he had done in his childhood. He has shared it as an account in an autobiography with us in the story Papa and Mama. So I expect you to please read the chapter carefully, alright, so that it will give you an idea also. And it is a wonderful read. It's a wonderful read. So if you are into reading books, okay, you should be reading some books beyond your school syllabus too. So if you happen to pick up a book, alright, so I think Roald Dahl is a wonderful author, and especially suitable for the age group that you are in right now. For class 6, Roald Dahl is an apt author, and the previous chapter that we had done, the cherry tree, alright, who was written by Ruskin Bond. So Ruskin Bond is another author who happens to be a very wonderful read. Like, he's a great author, so I think you can even choose books that he has written. He especially writes mainly for children. So there's an array of you are getting to know a lot of authors. So I think just reading what is there for your syllabus should not be enough. So like, you should read something out of the syllabus. So I think these authors are going to help you in understanding life, or maybe, and with their accounts that they have shared, also gives us an insight and makes us, it's good to read books sometimes. Sometimes people just take it as leisure reading, but some people take it really seriously. You can even squeeze 2 books at a time to read it, but I personally feel like people should read books. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. I'll see you in the next class, and I will also update you with your work. Thank you.